Hey viewers, Matt here with Beyond the Brick, and today we are taking a look at the 2021 Black Friday exclusive coming from LEGO Star Wars. Here is the Ultimate Collector's Series AT-AT, the third UCS set of 2021, arguably one of the most iconic vehicles from all of Star Wars. We're finally getting it in an Ultimate Collector's Series form. A huge thanks to LEGO for sending us an early review copy here. Beyond the Brick, of course, all opinions will be our own expressed in today's video. Getting on into the box, it's very similar to the Millennium Falcon or Star Destroyer box. You can see all the UCS black background graphics for the AT-AT, including the back of the box, which has actual images from Empire Strikes Back and other cool interior shots and stuff like that. On the very top here, you have all of the 9 minifigures included in this $800 set. Now, inside of the box, you have a beautiful picture that stacks up on all 4 boxes to make a really nice image from the Battle on Hoth in Empire Strikes Back, which just adds to the unboxing experience. Each box is individually packed and contributes to a very specific part of the build. Each one also comes with a different instruction manual and a white envelope, and there's only 1 sticker sheet in the entire set, which is pretty good in my opinion. Less stickers the better. Now, of course, like all UCS sets, there of course is the Ultimate Collector's Series plaque. This gives you the information about the set from which you are building in the Star Wars universe. Of course, this is the Imperial all-terrain armored transport from the Kuat Drive Yard, standing at 22 meters tall in universe. Just all a bunch of really cool information in terms of the weaponry, the armaments, even the capacity, fitting up to 40 regular troopers on top of deck officers, commanders, gunners, and pilots. This is an incredible set, and I can't wait to show you guys in today's video. What's really cool about this one is the functions to actually pose the set. Now, behind the UCS plaque, there's a stand for this little funky looking tool. I bet you're wondering, Matt, what the heck is this? Well, let me tell you. You can actually use this tool and connect it to axle joints both on the hip and the knee joints throughout the AT-AT, and then you twist it either clockwise or counterclockwise, and this is actually how you pose the legs. Contrary to the other sets where you'd have to use your hands and manually move the different joints and the limbs together, all you have to do is use this tool, rotate it whichever way you desire, and that's actually how you move it. Now, this is a genius idea. There's some new Technic pieces incorporated in the joints for the AT-AT, which we'll get into in just a little bit, but this process and having this function for moving the AT-AT legs is not only much more easy to do for us, but it also makes the build so much more safe, so much more sturdy, especially with a build that stands at almost 2 feet tall. This is something that's going to help tremendously with the support structure behind the AT-AT. So you can see here, you can move the 2 different limbs depending on which joint you connect the tool to, and you can twist it clockwise or counterclockwise to move the limbs in whichever way you want to. This was a really cool thing that I saw from the set, something I haven't seen before, so huge shout out to the design team for LEGO Star Wars. And of course, you just put it back behind the plaque when you're done. The tool fits in between different slopes on the back, and it fits nicely, and there you have it. Now let's jump on into the 9 minifigures. That's right, 9 entire minifigures. We have General Veers, 2 pilot drivers, Luke Skywalker, and 5 snowtroopers, as well as a brick-built blaster on a stand, which looks super cool. General Veers is not a new minifigure. Nothing about this minifigure is new. However, he does come with dual molded black boot legs, which is always nice. We've seen this in the Imperial, Star Destroyer, UCS, and a couple other LEGO sets in the past. Overall, it's a good minifigure. It does come with 2 different faces. Of course, the helmet mold is beautiful with the goggle printing and just the sort of little sand blue colors going on throughout General Veers. The next minifigure here we have is Luke Skywalker. Of course, he's actually pretty new. He's not the one included in the other playset AT-AT set, which is nice. He does have different details as well as 2 faces. He has the visor down face and the visor up. Luke is armed with his thermite grenade and his lightsaber as well, of course, for when he chops up the belly of the AT-AT and brings it down in the movie. The next guys here we have are 2 AT-AT pilot drivers, exact same minifigures as the one included in the AT-AT play scale set that you can currently find on LEGO shelves. However, what is great about this set is we actually have a little bit more of a inclusivity feature when it comes to different heads and different representations in the Imperial Army. Of course, the Empire uses recruits, not clones, so having a different variety of types of people on it is going to be super cool. Here is the Snowtrooper Commander. He does have a slightly different torso. If you'll notice in the top right, he has the blue and red squares signifying his rank, and he also does have a slightly different head, which is nice that we're getting a lot of different custom heads and not just the same one over and over again like we've had in the past, which is really good. And he also does have have under his command 4 regular standard snowtroopers, and of course you can see the different genders and different colors of the heads that we have here, which is awesome. Again, including more inclusivity in a set, which does make sense since it's the Empire, is always a thumbs up. Now, obviously, the Empire has a lot more troopers than just the lonesome Luke Skywalker, but he's a Jedi, so I think he'll fare. But overall, the minifigure selections are great. I would have loved to get maybe some arm printing, but other than that, the minifigures quantity is awesome. So, of course, you put these minifigures below it, and you can see here that they only reach maybe the height of the foot of the AT-AT, and you can see how monstrous this walker is, and that was my favorite. That was like my awe moment when I finally realized that I have this set in hand. It's real because of how big it looks. Let's start off with talking about the feet. Of course, there are 4 of them. It's very important to have structurally sound feet, and they look phenomenal. They're using a whole bunch of different curve slopes, tiles, and stuff like that. There are Technic pieces which connect inside the ankles and connect to the base of the leg. Of course, having a strong, sturdy connection for a walker like this is incredibly important, and the detail definitely wasn't skipped. So I'm happy with the perfect balance we have between the details and the looks and the aesthetic, but also having the functionality, the structural integrity, and the sturdiness that you need for something like this. And you can actually see the Technic gears and the pieces that are used for the different functionality aspects that we previously talked about. For me, this isn't that big of a deal. I don't think this detracts at all from the overall aesthetic of the AT-AT, but I could see why some people might get a little bit upset at being able to see those Technic joints. But what I've noticed when building the set is that the detail comparatively on the sides facing the inside of the AT-AT and the sides facing the outside is much different. The sides facing us as we look at it are generally more detailed if you're looking at the walker from the outside in, but as soon as you go into the inside parts of the legs, there's significantly less detail. There's a lot more studs, a lot less pieces used, especially on this very top part that you guys see there, as compared to right now you're seeing the parts that face the outside that have the more details, the more tiles, the more wedge plates, the more just different pieces to make it look better. Again, not something that's too big of a concern, but just something worth mentioning. And this thing at its highest point is over 2 feet tall. That's of course if you stand it on its legs completely straight up. I decided to have the legs bent a little bit just to make it look a little bit more realistic for the sake of today's video, but it is a very large set. Now, getting into the most fun part of the set, the interior. The body of the AT-AT, it comes in panels. You could easily take them off, starting with the 3 on the top. When you want to, you can uplift the side panel of the AT-AT just like so, and inside is revealed a massive, awesomely looking, detailed interior. The interior look and the functions and everything like that is definitely going to be something that a lot of you guys, when you get to building it, is going to be such a fun part of the build. There is an interior, of course, for the cockpit for the drivers and General Veers, as well as the main body. So there's a lot of stuff to get into. Let's dive in. The entire body does have an interior section. They're separated by 2 different floors and different levels and components that make up the entirety of the interior for the AT-AT. Now, there's a lot of room, a lot of detail. It's this very sleek black look using sand blue seats and chairs. You could fit at least a couple dozen snowtroopers in here. Of course, if you guys have any in your own collection, in your own army, it'll be really cool to see just this entire space filled up with troopers. It's literally a mock builder, a Lego Star Wars fan, whatever. It's their dream. In the back of the second floor here, we have this sort of engine compartment, which of course makes sense. It is a walker, it is a vehicle, and you do need a room dedicated to the functionality of the actual walker itself in universe, in the Battle of Hoth and stuff like that. The bottom floor is where you would mostly be deploying from. On the other side, you have speeders, which we'll get into in a little bit, but you can see here there's plenty of room for snowtroopers to get up, get ready, get their gear, and get ready to go out into the freezing cold Hoth tundra and take on some rebel enemies, which looks really fantastic. And I can't stress enough the detail, the black details and little things like this sort of little opening hatch that you can get in or out of is just super cool and something you wouldn't really expect in an Ultimate Collector Series set. You also have some of these sticker panels on 6x6 black tile, just giving it that really Imperial hallway vibe look we might see on maybe like the Death Star or something like that. Now up here you have on the top floor, this is actually where you control the head. Now granted, there's not much movement because it is a display set, but there are some really nice joint and axle pieces that allow you to maneuver the head both side to side and also tip it a little bit. If you want to open up the interior of the cockpit, you can lift up the top hatch, remove the side panel, and you can see the interior where it comfortably fits General Veers and his 2 AT-AT pilots, which is really, really nice. In fact, removing the panel is super easy, and in front of the panel, you also have this brick-built display where you have a sticker of the Hoth generator, the planet itself, the mountains, and all the different components of the control station, which is just so cool. And you put that back on the front, so of course they're all looking at it when they're inside the AT-AT. Putting on the side panels of the AT-AT cockpit is super easy. You just line up some axle points together into some Technic bricks. It's not required to have any forceful energy, which is nice. Everything seamlessly fits and slides in, which is super great. There are also some pretty cool features of this. Of course, you have the secondary twin blasters. They can move up and down, which is nice, and the primary ones actually alternate when you move them side to side. There's a really cool function where each one goes side to side, forward to back, alternating, so it really looks like they're firing, which is such a cool addition. Something very similar to like the gunship where they had that for the Republic gunship. But there also is a primary door, a hatch if you will, that opens up from the side of the body for the AT-AT, where you could of course deploy the troops and stuff like that, which is super cool. You also do have some great other features as well, such as the speeders on the top and the sides. On the first floor, you have these 2 twin snow speeders, which look really cool. You have the armor rucksack on the back with the tan ingot, the pedals and everything like that. Very reminiscent of the Endor speeders, of course, very similar, just outfitted for a different environment and a different color, but it does come with 2 of them, which is super cool, and I think people are really gonna like that. The construction of the neck was super unique. It utilizes these giant like 6x6 cylinder pieces that have a lot of flexibility and a lot of motion. Of course, it's holding up a very solid amount of weight, but you can see here as you move the head and the rest of the body, the different pieces sort of curtail their angles to the set, which is nice, so nothing's gonna break. Everything's super strong, everything's super sturdy, and everything like that. And just again, the detail, I think that's the most important thing when it came to an AT-AT, is that you want to have the magnificent features, you want to have the size and the scale, but of course capturing the details while maintaining a structural integrity is the most challenging and the most important. And I can wholeheartedly say the design team did a fantastic job capturing so many iconic details and desired details in this AT-AT while making it a very sturdy model. I've built custom models that even have so much detail as to the underbelly of the AT-AT still has all this magnificent detail with cylinders, with slopes. There are plenty of quote minifigure scale AT-ATs, and this model is pretty close. I'd say it's only maybe 2 or 3 inches off from truly being minifigure scale, but when you look at the detail, the structural integrity, all the sturdiness, and all the details that they were able to capture on the set, I am personally blown away. I did not expect anything like this coming from the Star Wars design team for UCS set, but I could wholeheartedly say for a lot of you, this is definitely going to be a day 1 pickup. So yeah, let us know how you enjoyed the AT-AT, guys. Let us know how you enjoyed the review. Later today, we'll be releasing an unboxing and speed build video that highlights more of the unboxing process, so stay tuned for that over here on Beyond the Brick. My overall score is fantastic, and price point of $800 is definitely a lot to ask for, especially when you can pick up the Falcon, but I think the AT-AT is iconic, it's classic, it's nostalgic, and the details and everything else in terms of functions with the set was nailed perfectly. So hope you guys enjoyed. Again, thank you so much for watching. Definitely subscribe down here on Beyond the Brick for more Star Wars content, of course. Hope you guys enjoyed today's review. Let me know in the comments what you think of the AT-AT. Is this something you'll be getting on day 1 for Black Friday, for those of you who are waking up early and getting on into your LEGO stores? We'll see you later. Have a good one.